Each man lies an innate propensity for darkness, for immorality, and when given appropriate circumstance, man is irrevocably attracted to the allure of abandoning conformity and embracing man's primal instinct to destruct.
Albert Memmi's Does the Colonial Exist mainly revolves around the dualisms of colonization when perturbed by enterprising colonialism, whereas Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness documents the journey up the River Congo and into man's unconscious, where Belgian colonialists found themselves at the turn of the 19th century.
Memmi's text was one of the many anti-colonial essays that emerged contemporaneously, being published during an era of intense anti-colonial activity. This extract is taken from Memmi's anti-colonialist essay, The Colonizer and the Colonist, published in 1957.
An ardent depravity embellishes the human psyche, especially with regard to that of the enterprising might of European colonialists. This theme of colonialism is at the core of Joseph Conrad's 1899 novella, Heart of Darkness. Conrad, who in 1890 was appointed captain of a steamer on the Congo River, and his experiences left him in disillusionment with the corruptibility and brutality of imperialism in the Congo. Thus his concerns in this text are to expose the depravity from a bed of jingoism surrounding conquest in his time, demonstrating the darkness of man in engaging with this plight.
Imperialism was embraced as a political belief system because it managed to justify acts of cruelty by the notion of civilizing the people and asserting the might of one's nation. The antithesis of imperialism's seeming objectives, to preserve civilization, are merely there for hollow reasons, for profit.
From the very outset, Memmi's text establishes the unfounded importance of economic prosperity in the pursuit of colonization. This is seen in the quote, "The change involved in moving to a colony must first of all bring a substantial profit." This reflects a wider facet of colonization, the enterprise which, in Memmi's view, is a constant factor in his extract. Soon after, Memmi describes newfound colonial land as being profitable purgatory, the polar opposite really of viscous slowness of progress at home.
Progress in Heart of Darkness, on the other hand, is pregnant with irony, with Kurtz being a symbol of European progression, when in reality he has regressed into this primitive state that European colonialists claim to be above.
You should note that Memmi suggests the existence of colonization stems from economic progression.
That's right. Conrad echoes this notion with the contextual inclusion of ivory. King Leopold of Belgium was never even arrested despite the 8 million Congolese lives lost.
Arrested, he was actually compensated when he had to halt rubber extraction in the Congo.
That almost harks back to what Vladimir Lenin once said. If it were necessary to give up the briefest possible definition of imperialism, we should say that imperialism is the monopoly stage of capitalism. It is owing to Conrad's illustrious Kurtz who perpetuates these notions that imperialism, under every act of jingoism, is applied to procure wealth and power. Those who enfranchise the practice of imperial barbarity are not immoral, not evil, because this world at least grants them a noble intention to follow.
In other words, there is no justifiable, understandable reason for conflicting depravity in this world. They are merely hollow, without humanity, without intention, and without purpose.
So the rationale for colonialism then is, on the surface, economic, but beneath, pathological. The other is a pretty pertinent concept in the Memmi extract, isn't it?
I mean, it's extremely relevant to all works of colonial literature. We see it in documentaries all the time. Memmi himself brought up the idea of the prominence of the strange customs of native people. The purpose of othering is to treat a group of people as intrinsically different to another, to alienate them, and to then highlight the disparity between the two. This othering, as it were, is seen in Memmi's line, "The most favoured colonized will never be anything but colonized people." In other words, that certain rights will forever be refused them, and that certain advantages are reserved strictly for him.
There's a dualism there too, a very prominent technique in Memmi's works due to his status as a colonized, French-educated Jew in an Arab land, as a motive to represent both the colonizer and the colonized. Within the preface of the 1965 English translated version of The Colonizer and the Colonized is a particularly good example of this dichotomy. In truth, I knew the colonizer from the inside almost as well as I knew the colonized. Even the title of the essay is a dualism.
So really, if his readership was subject to the same conditions, they too would reach a similar conclusion.
So what do you think? Do you agree with Memmi?
After everything we've said, I'd have to say yes. Memmi has seen the two different aspects of the same colonial situation. His defiant stance on colonialism echoes the writings of Joseph Conrad, both of which encapsulate their respective jingoistic contexts.